In the previous video, I have asked you a question that do you believe the derivation done in that video to be the proof of Boltzmann equation S equals to kb ln omega? Now, most of you have answered correctly. I have checked the validity of Boltzmann equation in the last lecture. I suggest you to read this article in which you will have insight about one of the actual derivation methods. Now, in this lecture, I will discuss the Boltzmann distribution law. So, this is the today's topic, Boltzmann distribution law. Let us consider a system having total energy E and it is containing n number of particles. Now obviously the particles will be distributed over different levels. Let in the ground state having energy epsilon 0, the number of particles present to be n0, in epsilon 1 to be n1, in epsilon 2 to be n2, and so on. So you can write the total number of particles n to be n0 plus n1 plus n2 plus ... So it will be summation over Ni. Again, the total energy can be expressed as N0 into epsilon 0 plus N1 into epsilon 1 plus N2 into epsilon 2 plus ... So it will be summation over Ni epsilon I. These energy levels are fixed by quantum mechanical principles. Now, number of particles and the total energy is in the hand of experimentalist. He or she can set these values, and once it is set, it will remain constant for a particular experiment. Now, the distribution of particles over various levels is guided by the Boltzmann distribution law, which is the target of today's lecture. Now, thermodynamic probability, which I have discussed in one of the previous videos, which is symbolized as omega, will be calculated as this is the total number of particles factorial by number of particles in the ground state factorial multiplied by number of particles in the first excited state factorial, and it will continue. This will correspond the thermodynamic probability for a given macro state only, not for all possible distributions. This is the thermodynamic probability corresponding to a particular distribution. Now let us take logarithm on both sides. It will be n0 factorial, n1 factorial, n2 factorial, and so on. Now, it will be ln factorial, ln n factorial minus ln n0 factorial. Now, since there is multiplication here, we will get summation. So it will be ln n0 factorial plus ln n1 factorial, and it will continue. This is fraction, so first we will have ln n factorial minus ln this term, the denominator term, and when we open up this product, we will have ln n0 factorial plus ln n1 factorial plus ln n2 factorial, and so on. Now, this can be written as ln n factorial minus summation over, it will be ln ni factorial. So when I equal to 0, we will have the first term, then plus due to this summation, then I will be 1, so we will get the second term, and so on, it will continue. Now, we will apply Stirling's approximation. Which implies that ln x factorial equal to x ln x minus x for large value of x. Now here the system is a macroscopic system, and we will deal with innumerable number of particles. So for such limit, we can apply Stirling's approximation, and that approximation will be good. So ln omega will be, we put this relation here, so it will be n ln n minus n. For ln n factorial, it will be n ln n minus n. Now for the second term, it will be ni ln ni minus ni. Now when we open up this bracket, we will get summation over ni ln ni. This minus minus will be plus, so it will be summation over ni. Now we have seen that summation over ni is n, that is the total number of particles. So we can put here equal to n. So it will be n ln n minus n minus summation over ni ln ni, it will be plus n. So this will cancel, so we get the expression ln omega equals to n ln n minus summation over ni ln ni. Now the population in different levels, as I have stated earlier, that is the distribution over the levels, will change continually, and the thermodynamic probability also will change accordingly, with the aim to attain maximum probability. And when from non-equilibrium state the equilibrium state is achieved, the probability will be maximum, and hence the corresponding thermodynamic entropy will be maximum. Now at maxima, what will happen? The first order differential of the parameter will be 0. So we can write derivative of ln omega equal to 0, since ln omega reaches maximum at equilibrium. Now what we have obtained for the expression of ln omega, we will put here. It will be n ln n minus summation over ni ln ni equal to 0. Now this is constant, so derivative of this term will be 0. But before that, let us first take it out. This term will be 0, so we will have now derivative and summation commutes, so we can write here summation and it will be derivative of ni ln ni, and we take this negative sign to the right hand side and it will be positive, so it will be 0. Now we have to differentiate it, so it will give us, when derivative operates on the second term, it will give us 1 upon ni dni. Now this second term will come out and we will operate it on the first term, so this is equal to 0. Now this is ni will cancel out and we will have, let us also separate the terms, so we will have dni summation over dni plus, this is for the first term, ni will cancel out, and for the second term we will have ln ni dni equal to 0. Now again we can write it as, so this summation over ni will be the total number of molecules or particles, so it will be d of n, it is constant for a particular experimental setup, so it will be 0. So we get summation over dni equal to 0. Let us consider it to be equation number 1. Putting this value in this equation, we will have summation over ln ni dni equal to 0. Let us consider this to be equation 2. Now E is constant, total energy, and it can be written as ni epsilon I, or dE derivative will be again this will commute, so we can write here summation over d of ni epsilon I summation over ni d epsilon I plus epsilon I dni. Now E is constant, so derivative of energy will be 0, so we have also for a particular energy level, this energy is guided by the quantum mechanical principle and it will also be 0. So this term will vanish, so we will have epsilon I dni equal to 0. So d equal to 0 and this term will vanish, so we will have summation over epsilon I dni equals to 0. Let us consider this equation to be equation number 3. Now, multiplying equation 1 by undetermined arbitrary multiplier alpha and multiplying equation number 3 by undetermined arbitrary multiplier beta and adding them to equation 2, we will have 1 into alpha, so it will be alpha summation over dni plus then 3 into beta, so it will be beta into summation over epsilon I dni, and equation 2 will be plainly added, so it will be summation over ln ni dni. Now all the three terms are 0, so the summation will be 0. So what happens? We multiply equation number 1 by undetermined arbitrary multiplier alpha, and we multiply equation 3 by the same arbitrary multiplier beta, and then we add them to equation 2 so that we get this relation, and the sum will be 0. Then let us take the common factors in common, so it will be summation here, and we will get ln ni from the third term, we will get alpha, we will get beta epsilon I, and we will get dni here, it will be 0. Summation, we take this to the front in common, so ln I, and here it is dni. For this term, here it is alpha and dni will come here, and for the second term, this is beta and epsilon I. So we get this relation. Now since this is the summation and dni cannot be 0, then the expression within the parenthesis must be 0. For each energy level, otherwise the overall sum cannot be 0. Now if this becomes 0, we can write so it will be minus alpha plus beta epsilon I. Now ni will be e to the power minus alpha now this is a constant, so e to the power minus constant will be another constant, so we will have ni equals to a into e to the power minus beta epsilon I. So we have the expression for number of particles which will occupy energy level having energy epsilon I. Now the total number of particles can be written as summation over ni, so it will be a into e to the power minus beta epsilon I. Now A is constant, it will come out. So it will be summation over e to the power minus beta epsilon I. Now we call this equation 4. We call this equation 5. Now dividing 4 by 5, we have ni upon n a into e to the power minus beta epsilon I by a into summation over e to the power minus beta epsilon I. So it will give us ni equals to n into e to the power minus beta epsilon I by summation over e to the power minus beta epsilon I. This is the Boltzmann distribution law. It gives us the number of particles in the ith level when the system reaches equilibrium. Now this is a very important relation. It will make you know how many particles are with a certain energy and above a certain energy level which may cross the barrier. So from this you will also have an idea about the rate of the reaction or rate of evaporation or any other such rates which will be associated with energy criteria. So it can also be termed as Boltzmann energy factor. Now I will give you 3 homeworks. Homework 1, I have used Stirling's approximation in this derivation. First try to prove that. So prove ln x factorial equals to x ln x minus x when x is very large. That will come during the course of the derivation. This is homework 1. Now homework 2 is interesting. Number of particles occupying a certain energy level must be guided by the thermal energy of the system. Since to occupy a level having energy epsilon I, the energy itself will be a resistance. Now, which factor will help those molecules to occupy that level? That will obviously be the thermal energy. Now, thermal energy is a direct function of temperature. So, in the Boltzmann distribution law, a person with rational mind must expect the temperature factor within this expression. But as we are watching it, we are not getting any temperature factor here. So can you counter this demand that there must be a temperature factor, or the expression must include absolute temperature but it is missing, or actually it is not missing, it is there but we are not able to find it. So how it is there included? How the temperature is being included in this Boltzmann distribution law? If it is there, you have to counter that. So counter the demand that Boltzmann distribution law has temperature. So this is the second homework. I am not writing this long paragraph. Now homework 3. You know from quantum mechanical system, or in case of atomic structure, p orbitals or d orbitals, you have heard of degenerate orbitals. or degenerate energy levels in case of particle in a box, particle in a 3D box. So if there are 3 energy levels for a particular energy, each of these levels having identical energy, and for another energy level, say there are 5 energy levels. So how this degeneracy factor is going to be introduced in this Boltzmann distribution law? How will you counter such system with this Boltzmann distribution law? Please give some insight to this system. How will you apply Boltzmann distribution law for such system? So these 3 homeworks you have to write in A4 page or some other pages. You have to take proper picture, crop it properly, and make it white background with some filter in your mobile application, and then upload it to Google Drive by your name, and then post the link in the comment section.